TheorySabers.com.
It just has to be sheer incompetence at this point.
Do you remember Kenobi when they did that? And I was like, wait a second. When all the younglings went from the myriad of aliens to just like a rainbow of humans. And I was like, son of a bitch, they did it. Why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they do it. I understand the logic of it is if you're not that competent and, well, they say that evil cannot create it. It can only manipulate and destroy. So you buy an IP and you go, well, I want to release things and make money, but I don't have the capacity to create something truly original. Or, you know, like George, I don't want to recreate the wheel for the next 20 years of people. Anyway, so what you do is you go, well, what do people care about right now? And then you shoehorn the shit out of it into whatever 100%. It is. And then he said, look what I've created. And that segment of the audience will then fight on your behalf and say anybody who doesn't like it is evil. And you've got a PR team of crusaders. I get it. I don't like it. It's very disingenuous.
It was a bad strategy. No,
they get so mad too. If you have a different opinion, it's just like they go straight to like, what'd you say? It's not like, oh, I disagree. Here's why. It's like
it's nuts.
Yeah, there's no middle ground. There's no
Theory
middle
got
ground.
the worst of it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm mostly getting mad because of things I've read about Theory.
I literally get some guy the other day what was like, I'll never forgive Theory for. I was saying this on Drinkers. I'll never forgive Theory for not allowing us to see more Plagueis or something in a season 2. I'm like, what the fuck? How the hell did I cause that?
I saw that. I think,
That was such a
I remember
they were blaming you for the cancellation.
It's such a whack cameo where he's just like creepering around the
shit.
It's the worst cameo that I've seen.
It is the worst show ran by, I would say, some of the shittiest people I've ever met. The most intolerant, psychotic. If you don't like what I like, then you are racist, incel, bigot, whatever, everything.
And the thing is, like, look, there's not everybody's that hardcore and extreme, but obviously there's a ton of people that are. And when you make your thing about that and you sort of connect it to those issues, like you're just bound to get that kind of conversation. So it's like, and this is the thing. It's like, we've all been having the same conversation about Kevin Kennedy for like 6 years. It has literally only gotten worse. And yeah, this is a big part of the problem was like the sort of shift into the female centric stuff, identity politics, all these sort of things. And then just not being able to actually competently produce on top of that just made it worse to the point now where it's like, it's so obvious that she needs to move on. And I guess she kind of is, but then again, she drops this big article where she's like, nah, like mommy's sticking around.
This is why I think that independent filmmakers, comic book writers are the future. So it is, not just YouTubers, but people, normal people, everybody that can just go ahead and make their own either fan film or movie and scale it up and get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where they're making massive films that speak to people and resonate with people's souls that aren't some corporate shit, some slop made by a bunch of suits telling you what to do. I think that's really the future is, our own stories that we are in control of. Or one-man show, one-woman show, whatever.
Yeah,
that's the future.
Agree. I think there's some hope for some decent Star Wars. Like I'm excited for Ahsoka season 2. I'm cautiously optimistic about The Mandalorian and Grogu, although like the plot leaks for that movie sounds so silly. Like I don't know what that movie is. But and look, Dave's movie, if he ends up doing an Heir to the Empire thing and Thrawn's actually badass, like hell yeah, I'll enjoy the shit out of that. But I think we might have to literally wait for a new visionary, for like some new filmmaker, some younger person, like kind of what you're describing, but then like they love Star Wars and they want to go save it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because you would almost need like Denis Villeneuve. Like I love his stuff and I really like what he does with Dune. He's never doing Star Wars. He's not interested in it. But you almost would need somebody like Denis, that's just a very competent filmmaker, understands tone and how to create emotion. Loves Star Wars, but has like their own version of it. And maybe we have to wait like 5 to 10 years for that. But I think that's always a possibility. I mean, because they could fuck this thing up so bad. Like maybe they make the Rey movie with Sean and nobody watches it, it bombs, and then they're like, well, what the fuck do we do now? Then they'd have to find a new vision or something. Right?
I think genuinely within the next 5 years, AI is going to get so good. I've been calling it the Star Wars fan universe or Star Wars FU, FU to Disney. People are going to take control, and their ideas will be able to be made at scale. Like we've got theory now to do like the level that's, movie level, but like the everyman, like you said, I think we have to start like last stream. Stoops came up with the greatest, what was it? Echo Base horror film just off the cut. I was like, man, I want to see this. People have been messaging saying, I want to see this thing come to life. And I'm like, in 5 years it could, So I don't think we can wait on Disney, but for the everyman who doesn't want to get involved, I get that it's like, well, either the fans do it or Disney may do it. But what hope do you have when we can't trust Disney to do it at this point?
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that. It's like, I like Dave. Like, again, I really like Dave, and I think he's literally done some of the best stuff that Star Wars has done in the past 10 years. Like, he has done literally some of my favorite shit. So if it's Tales, episode 5 of season 2 of Mando, or, parts of Ahsoka, like I think episode 6 of Ahsoka is like one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars that I've seen in a long time. Like, that shit was hype. And then it kind of falls off in the last 2, right? But like Dave can do that. And so I'm excited to see Dave potentially do more stuff, and maybe there's a way like it actually starts to feel a lot like Star Wars, and then they have a cohesive thing moving forward. I don't know. I could see it, but
you don't know who's at the top, right? Like,
right.
Sorry,
the thing,
you want to go first?
No, go for it. No, you're saying what I was going to say.
Well, the Book of Boba Fett, I did not love that, but Robert Rodriguez, who made Desperado in the 90s, was such a good film. When he had the King Kong scene in Book of Boba Fett, and it was just like this smash of shit, and Filoni was involved, I was like, who is making it looks like that stupid whiteboard where they were throwing ideas at it. Like, if somebody that competent can make something so terrible, you go, who is controlling them, if that makes sense? So you could be right. It could be just cutting the head off and letting competent writers and directors and all those people have their vision come to life, and not make speeder bike chases on mopeds or whatever.
Yeah, it's so weird. And like Marvel and Star Wars both have had similar issues too, right? Like it's really weird how, because in 2019 Disney did 9 different billion-dollar movies. So they were just like at the height of their shit, and like Marvel looked like it would never stop. You know what I mean?
Stop, right.
Like,
Endgame hype was, you could taste it.
Yeah, it was
I can't believe how badly Marvel has dropped.
Yeah, it's
just
wild,
fallen.
right? And it's like, what kind of happened to both of the studios? Because I would actually argue, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I actually think the Disney Plus shows have made Star Wars worse. So like, it was already bad after the sequel trilogy. I think it's gotten worse because of just so much bad in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm more checked out than ever. I don't know. What do you think?
It's the clear culprit for sure.
Oh,
I mean, Disney, they started with the Marvel Disney Plus shows, and Marvel instantly went downhill because they saw how much money they could make. The places like Netflix or even Max, which I think is one of the better streaming services. But with Star Wars, again, they put all their eggs into Disney Plus because they had success with Mando, and they were like, okay, we don't have to do these like huge theatrical releases. We can build our brand on Disney Plus. But the issue is when 80% of your shows are bad and you're not going on the big screen and all of your resources are dedicated to these smaller projects, when you have the Acolyte that has a bigger budget than Dune Part 2 did. Holy shit. But anyway.
Well, dude, and they're about to spend, they spent $700 million basically on Andor.
What?
Yeah, like 675. Yeah. Dude, like that is absurd.
No aliens.
Bro, that's fucking great. Yeah, no aliens.
It's a talking show. They just talk.
$800 million. And I hate that show, by the way. So like I'm on the outside on that. I know a lot of people like Andor. I fucking